Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And joining us all the way from Beijing, China, here live in the studio, we got Ron.
What's happening?
No, he's actually live in the studio.
Yes, yes. That's true. I meant live from Beijing. He has traveled from Beijing as a live human being and landed here in Orlando. Is actually in the studio right now.
Correct, because I can see him, touch him.
Whoa.
Yep, a little
this
bit.
just got a little weird.
Coronavirus free.
I did notice you were
That's
right.
why I would want to touch you, not if you had the coronavirus.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we start on this
So,
podcast.
yeah, there we go. We're good. Yeah.
2 weeks of quarantine in Canada.
How was that, eh?
It was pretty good.
You had some good Canadian beers?
Went to a ton of Canadian breweries in Toronto, Ontario, and
in Edmonton?
and
As the locals call Edmonton?
and in Banff and Jasper. If you've been following our Untapped at all,
Oh, man, our Untapped is been gorgeous the last few weeks.
Blowing up.
it's pretty. I had some pretty obscure beers. It was pretty great.
And not for nothing, but you landed in Orlando and the Untapped kept rolling.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's pretty impressive. You guys even went to the same place.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
know
like
it. I
a
was there
few-
like 3 days earlier.
Right. That was pretty entertaining.
What's it called again?
It's the GB Bottle Shop.
Yes, bottle shop and tap house or something like that.
Yeah.
It's actually, I found out, interesting. It is started with the Gnarly Barley guys and somewhere else in the area, but it was mainly the Gnarly Barley guys who bought this place out 3 years ago, and it's a collab with somebody else. They actually had a collab beer there on tap. I don't know if you saw it, Ron, I can't remember what the hell it was, but it was actually very good. I get the name of it. I'll let you know, but interesting.
Yeah.
Fun place.
It's it was pretty good. They have they probably have the most extensive bottle collection I've seen in a while.
Yeah, definitely a lot of bottles, a lot of canned beer, but like not your normal go to Total Wine and like canned beer.
Right.
Like a lot of
Like more
really
limited?
smaller breweries, limited releases from breweries, all over the place. There were some that were putting on Untapped from South Carolina and Wisconsin, and just some breweries that I've never even heard of, but fantastic. So definitely check her on tap for those.
Yeah, it was pretty great. It's funny that we were there 3 days apart.
Yeah.
We got a mention by them because we'd been, putting up so much stuff by them. We got a mention by them on Instagram.
Nice.
It was pretty funny.
And, there's been soccer stuff that's happened as well.
Just a wee bit, yeah.
We have a little bit to talk about since last we chatted.
Yeah, a little bit of soccer, a little bit of VAR.
Yeah.
Lots of VAR.
Lots of VAR.
Yeah.
Like a 16-ounce helping
Yeah.
of VAR.
Like that porterhouse in the great outdoors that John Candy had to eat all of.
Yeah.
That's what it was. No, John Candy, Dan Aykroyd had to eat all of.
I knew what you meant.
I'm through. No, you still got this left. That's just fat and gristle. Boom.
Oh, funny. Well, I brought a beer back for you guys if you want to get to the beer.
Ooh,
Let's do the beer.
Since I was just up in Alberta, Alberta, Canada has a bunch of really good breweries, and they've all gotten, this is what's kind of cool about the Canadian breweries. They've all kind of gotten together, and all of the big beer companies and breweries in Alberta have kind of collaborated for this thing called Alberta. And so they sell all these shirts.
I like it.
and things like
It's
that.
like
Yeah,
a
it's
dad
pretty
joke
great.
about beer. I'm down.
Right? Jasper Brewing Company, Banff Ave Brewing Company, what's the other one? Last Best Brewing and Distilling, and then I think Babe Brewing and Campio Brewing are all the biggest breweries basically in Alberta, and they all got together. And so if you go to alberta.com, you can see all of those beers, and you can get mix packs, right? Which is kind of one of the very few places I've ever seen do this, where you can get a mix pack and it's from different breweries, not, one brewery that does 6 different beers. So that's kind of cool. You can get,
that's cool.
You can taste a bunch of different breweries in one of their, kind of like mix packs.
Well, it's kind of like the place we were just talking about. With the cans, you can get a 4-pack of cans, but you can put whatever beers you want into that pack. So it's their own version of that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. There's just a gigantic thriving beer culture all the way across Canada. It's just blowing up like crazy. And so I snagged my favorite IPA out of the Alberta. And so it is the Last Best IPA.
Ooh, and we got
a good IPA.
I like that we got a few varieties to try.
Ooh. Thank you.
And so the Last Best, it's an IPA.
It's a classy looking can too.
Yeah, it is. It's very pinkies up. Mosaic, Ella, Amarillo, and Chinook hops. It's a 6.5 ABV. And if you're charting your IBUs at home, stop. It's kind of meaningless. But if you do chart them, it's 65 IBU. It's, Calgary's IPA with heaps of citrus flavors. It's really well balanced, leans on the tropical fruit, hop notes with a bit of a floral nose. It's pretty balanced. And it's a pretty tasty beer.
They got the hashtag Alberta right on the can.
I also saw they have brewing and distillery.
Yeah. They distill a bunch of hard liquors. I haven't had any of those because I wasn't there. These I got
at the Alberta.
Yeah. Well, no, at Last Best Brewing Company. Okay. I got these in Jasper when we were checking out a bottle shop, and bottle shops are everywhere there. So you can find all of these beers from Alberta everywhere, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that is cool. So you can they're distributed well. In other words,
yeah. And it seems like they're not fighting for distribution rights in Alberta. It seems like they all try to promote each other for the health of the industry,
right? Rather than try to take each other out or try to steal a certain section of the market or anything along those lines. Yeah,
which is surprisingly refreshing because when you talk to them, if you like a beer that they don't particularly brew, they'll tell you, "Oh, go to Banff Ave Brewing. They have a great porter. They have a great."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and
all tides raise or was it rising tide lifts all ships?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
So that's pretty cool. But this is probably my favorite IPA in Alberta.
So is this what's the cityscape we're looking at? Is that Toronto? Is that Space Needle or not Space? But not Space Needle, but
no, this is Calgary.
Oh, Calgary.
Yeah,
see the tower there in the highlight of the.
Yeah, this is all brewed in Calgary. So I'm not sure what that Space Needle is.
Looks like it though, right?
Yeah,
it's
a little bit.
Yeah. The can's cool. It's just simple. Got like a hunter green and a black with like a really
both like matte
floral design. Yeah, matte floral design of the hops and the cityscape. That's cool looking.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I can't wait for you guys to try.
All right, let's do this.
I almost want to be the only one to have it in a can and use my nifty can.
Oh, your can
koozie?
No, my can.
Handle.
Handle, yeah. But I don't know if this is a beer that you should pour out there, Ron.
I think you should pour it out.
Okay, all right.
I would because the smell's amazing, man. Ooh, I could live in that.
It's got a nice thick head to it and good retention.
Yeah, you're right.
A really nice color, smells very floral.
This makes you want to brew beer again. I mean, that smells like fresh hops, like right in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it smells so good.
Looking at yours, it's darker than I would have thought.
Yeah, it's not. It's a gold isn't the right word.
It's a little more honey color.
Yeah.
It's almost like one of those white stouts that they've been doing.
Yeah.
That's not a stout. Just kidding.
I love that.
Shall
smell. Let's do this.
Cilantro. Good to have you back, Ron.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
Oh, good. Lord, that's good.
It's refreshing.
I mean, that's super hoppy. And we've been lucky lately. We've had some really hoppy stuff, but this one is in the same vein of
like kill your teeth.
Yeah, man. It's not an offensive hop flavor. It's very balanced through there.
Yeah, fragrant, Very balanced. What you kind of smell on the nose, you kind of taste in the bit of piney and bitterness with that kind of citrusy fruit kind of taste to it. Oh, so good. And
That was really good.
before we move on to the soccer.
Oh, the soccer.
So obviously it wouldn't be a beer trip if I didn't bring something back.
Ooh, prezzies.
Yeah. So from my favorite brewery in Ontario, Four Fathers Brewing.
Nice. Oh, dude.
Right? That remember those IPAs I bring
I've
back?
actually got a Pilsner in the fridge I need to try.
Yeah.
A little snapback for Ferris.
Oh, lovely, dude. That's awesome. Thank you.
That is a very Ferris gift.
Publix
Thank you
bag
so
for
much.
Blake. Nope. Four Fathers. Awesome logoed shirt.
Oh, their logo is. Oh, this is one of those comfy shirts too, man.
Oh my God, is it?
Oh, this is awesome, dude. Thank you. Yeah.
Dude, this is awesome.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. That is right. Their symbol's so great. So their symbol, if you're a nerd like me, you go, it looks like an old red Fantastic Four logo.
Yep.
But yeah, I love their logo, man. That's awesome. And their beers are freaking fantastic.
So I had the ability to go to the Four Fathers Brewery for the first time when I was there. And oh my God, what a cool place. It's kind of a little on the industrial side, but it's got kind of old wooden furniture on the inside. And man, they have one of those old school. Do you remember when you were a kid, you'd go play hockey and it was the dome hockey that's kind of like foosball?
Oh, yeah.
Right? They have a working one of those machines, and I must have played on that.
That's awesome.
That's
all
right.
night. That was so fun.
This is a Canadian shirt. It's very fine. Is this 100% beaver pelt? What do we got here? Because this feels very soft.
All right, but I got one more set for you.
Oh, this hat fits like a glove, dude. Thanks so much.
Yeah?
I already got it on.
So this is another brewery. I'm wearing a shirt from it. I don't know if you noticed earlier, but the shirt I'm wearing is from Jasper Brewing Company.
okay.
And on the back of my shirt is a pint glass with the Jasper Mountain Range in it. And I thought that was just a cool, shirt. So this one's for Blake. I thought this was awesome since you just mentioned beavers. That's really funny.
Oh, that's hysterical.
It's a beaver, and the tail is a hop.
It's a
flower.
hop, dude. Check it out, Ferris. The beaver tail turns into a hop.
That's awesome.
Now, this is also very soft, but a little more luxurious. This is definitely 100% beaver felt. This is very.
And then
soft.
this is also very Ferris.
Oh,
I thought.
Oh, and it's one of the baseball tee kind of things, like
Right.
3/4 sleeves.
Yeah, and then look on the back, the Jasper.
Or as we call it in Florida, this is a winter sweater.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Jasper Brewing Company. Got the little like VW bus. That's awesome.
bus you take to the beach or whatever. Yeah,
It's
dude.
such an 80s looking.
Awesome.
Except
It
for
is.
in Jasper, you're taking it to the ski mountain.
Correct.
It's such an 80s looking throwback t-shirt.
Nice,
Oh, this is
dude.
awesome,
Thank you.
dude. Yeah.
Ryan
No
always brings
worries.
back the best gifts.
Yeah, you guys have made out like a bandit on some of these.
Yeah.
That's great. But, I can't go and then not share it. So,
Well, speaking of gifts, actually, are you done? I don't want to cut you off.
No, I'm done.
I didn't know that. But wait, there's more under our seats. Speaking of gifts, though, we have also gotten some cool listener gifts.
Yes.
We've talked about Lee and Tracy Malley before. They run a podcast talking about theme park stuff, the unofficial Universal podcast. I met those guys a little while ago, but they're the ones that Lee had sent us a personal kind of video vlog showing us what his Darlow County FC in the North. I got to get this right.
It's like 2 hours
North
from Scotland.
National League.
I think you're right.
Double check that.
I'll check it up for you.
But and he had given me the history of their club, and like he's a big supporter. And the last time I saw him when he was down there visiting in the States, he gave us the awesome scarf from their cup match that they won in crazy fashion and extra time. But we ran into them again this week visiting down, and Ferris got a cool gift, and I got a cool gift. while we were down
and
here.
they are in the National League North.
There we go.
I got a lovely. So I had never actually met them because Blake, you met them back in October.
Yep.
And did you meet them last year as well? I can't remember.
I had been on their show, so
that's right.
the year prior, but I didn't met them in person until this past October.
So I was walking through the parks, and it's so funny because what the hell was that?
That's your Brewtiful Game church key or something that fell. Oh,
that's one of Horror Nights
bottle opener. One of our mini bottle openers in this.
One of the 30.
But anyways, I was walking through the parks and walking through one of the lands. And I look over and I recognize this guy's face. I kind of have like, I know him. As he's looking at me, going, I know him. Because we had never met before, but just have seen pictures and the live video and all of that.
And it also helps that Ferris is 6'13".
It does help that I'm like a giraffe walking amongst the parks. Yeah. But we look at each other and we're like, Lee? Ferris? And it was like a rejoicement moment where there was no handshake. There was hugs. Like it was, we've never met, but it's so good to finally see you and meet you and you're actually human. And like just met him, his wife, his daughter. Lovely. We sat there. We talked for a bit. She shared some fun stuff. And then 2 days later, I'm walking through other land. All I hear is, Ferris. I look over and there he is again. I went over to talk to him, and his wife did one of the almost like things that made my week. She reached onto her lanyard that she was wearing and took a pin off of it. I'm thinking it's like a universal pin that she got here the past few times, and but it was a Darlington FC pin that I actually just put on my Facebook. It's a Darlington FC pin that she's had for like 20 years. And wanted to give that to me, and it's so freaking cool. And we're talking about all that, and I'm gonna see if when I'm in England in April, if we can get up there and try to.
He did reach out to me and said that the days you told him that you were looking at, they have a couple of games at Darlington.
I want to see if we can get up there. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be so great.
You'll have to share that photo on Twitter too, on our Instagram, and show you see the pin. And I got a chance. I actually saw them after Ferris. And Darlington FC's got a crazy story of like punching above their weight, then going into administration, which is bankruptcy, and then the fans basically pitching in and buying it. The people bought the club, and now it's back. And so he gave me this cool book called Darlow's on the Up: The Story of 6 Successful Darlington FC Promotion Campaigns by Ray Simpson. And it's a really cool book that details the entire. Some of the most crazy triumphs that they've had. Like on the front, it's got pictures from 66, 85, 90, 91, 2013, and 2015. But it's a really comprehensive book. I mean, I was flipping through this thing. It's, right around 250 pages. So I can't wait. I'll try to get through this as quick as I can and then pass this off.
Please do.
So you gentlemen can get a look at.
That'd be great.
It's just one of those things that we keep saying we're gonna get Lee on the show at some point. I talked about it, was on here to kind of give our American listeners that view of we in the States, we think of things like whether it be soccer or whether it be like our baseball. We think we have minor league and we have like the major league baseball, or we have major league soccer, and the leagues are such a different situation in Europe and the UK and the way that they're tiered up, and so I'd love to get him on and kind of talk about that and kind of and talk about the history of Darlington, but some super cool listener gifts, man. Lee, Tracy, thank you guys so much. This stuff is super awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
Always good to hang out with the fans.
I know, man. And meet some people from all over too and get some stories from, there. And Lee always lets me know later when we have mispronounced something from England that we said wrong. And I'm like, thank you. I forget, what was that last one? I can't remember. The Quakers.
I think, wasn't it Norwich?
Norwich, that's what it was. We kept saying Norwich. Yeah.
Norwich.
And he's like, no, it's Norwich.
Here they are, Norwich.
Yep. That's here in Norwich. We were watching that game against Leicester.
Team K.
Yeah. So thank you, Lee. You let us know when we say that stuff wrong. We very much appreciate it. Shall we get on to the Premier League and see if we mispronounce anything now?
Oh, why the hell not? Ron, thank you again. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem.
And you know what? Do you want to lead us on our Premier League voyage?
It's true.
Because guess what was the first game of this weekend?
On Saturday, opening match.
Oh, it was so nice.
Well, hold on.
In a world where the great one returns.
But I was really nervous as
Before Saturday, let's rewind a little bit back to Monday. At the Bridge, Monday Night Football, Chelsea and Manchester United. Harry Maguire gives a good kick to the balls, doesn't get sent off. Gets a second goal later on. Glory, glory, Man United out of the Bridge.
Cheaters.
Here we go.
Cheats.
Alleged cheats.
No. There's no alleged. He kicked him in the nuts. That's not alleged.
He was protecting himself from the guy fall. I love that comment afterwards where he was like, he was going to fall on me, so I stuck out my leg to protect myself. Love it. Yes. Good old Harry. Come on.
As Ferris says about Man United, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
100% right.
Well,
Mind you, it was 1-0 at the time, or was it 0-0? I think it was 0-0.
yeah.
Because then, I don't know who the hell scored the first. I can't remember now. Martial scored the first, I think. And then Maguire blasted his first Premier League goal, actually, for Manchester United this year. Blasted it in with his big old forehead after he should have been allegedly sent off.
He should, protecting himself.
There's no allegedly, okay?
Yeah. Well, VAR, which they are always right. We know that from experience, which we'll get to in this game here in a little bit.
This actual match,
correct?
I think it feels like from all the commentary, it feels like a tipping point on the VAR thing. Well, because even the referee league organizations come out saying, "Oh yeah, that should have been a red."
Yeah, and the VAR. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit, but comes off the back of this, which the Maguire. Who was the player that it was against? Ron, you remember that?
When today?
No, on Monday with Maguire.
No,
I don't remember, but
I can't remember.
That was VAR'd, and it was nothing, not even a card. They saw no. But it looks very similar to rewind back to, was it the Chelsea Tottenham match? Or Tottenham was playing somebody and the Son kick up.
Sorry, he did that to Batshuayi.
Yes. Kicked him in the old Batman. That's what he did.
In the old twig and berries.
But yeah, that was a kind of a VAR. You're like, oh, like, it doesn't look bad in like real time. Then you VAR and you slow it down. You're like, ooh, that was a little bit of a kick out from Maguire there.
A little bit. Come on. That's like saying the horse didn't kick that guy.
But VAR must have been in their pies or asleep or something, because they didn't see it and they deemed it to be nothing. And then we fast forward to this game on Saturday.
But look, you haven't let Ron talk about
That's true.
The best part, the opening of this game. The first 15 minutes.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
First 15.
Yeah, when you got that glorious gift that still should be wrapped in glorious red with his lumbersexual beard, smelling better than
like
anybody.
Noir, like just gloriness.
Well, first,
Olivier.
First, though, it is, if I'm not mistaken, it is the Great One's homecoming to the bridge.
The special one, you mean?
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the special.
It's his first time back. That's right.
As being the manager at the Spurs, yes.
Yeah.
Another London team. Ooh.
So it was fun. There was the energy throughout that entire stadium was just through the roof, because, you always like to show him up. And so we did the best we could, and we got out of this one. No thanks to Rudiger, who is kind of taking over for Cahill in Cahill's absence, but we'll get to that in a second. So, Giroud scores after on the third attempt at goal. So Giroud is broken open all by himself, takes a nice shot on goal. It's saved. It falls to Ross Barkley, who cues one up and pings it right off the crossbar. It falls delicately to Olivier Giroud, who takes a beautiful one touch, then volleys it right into the corner of the net.
And it is the thing I miss about him at Arsenal was those kind of moments. And this one is the beginning of the game, but those would be those crazy, like, going to be a 1-1 draw, 93rd minute. Like, he's so good at snatching those goals.
Yeah.
Well, and what was more impressive is he stayed with the play, because he could have been very down on himself when he hit the crossbar and then it bounced off and the other person hit the crossbar, or there was a save.
No, he got saved.
He got saved, and the other person was a crossbar, then bounced back to him, and he adjusted himself very well and was very quick to get on the ball and then struck it beautifully. It was a beautiful strike. It was a bullet. And it was his first goal in almost 300, either a little bit over a year or a little bit under a year, and his first start since October or November for them in the league. So that was that kind of gave Lampard, like, okay, he hasn't started in a while. You start this number 9. Yes, he looks amazingly sexy and handsome, but he can also score goals.
Yep,
and he will deliver if he's given that opportunity.
And with the lack of, this like true scorers, because Abraham's kind of had his slump off injuries and things like that.
Yeah. Although he did play in this game.
Yes, I do think the argument's though to give Giroux a little more time out there. This guy's been sitting there, and he's certainly scored many in his day.
Right.
I mean, I know he's probably not too much longer left in, I don't know about Premier League in general, but at least Chelsea at the Premier League. But yeah, come on, give that guy a chance.
And then the same thing goes for Alonso. Alonso has been having a hard time.
Lovely locks.
And he puts one in the back of the net off of a beautiful buildup. I mean, that buildup is textbook out of, just learning to have build-up play.
Well, and it came off because I'm actually, I'm watching the play now. It came off of a throw-in that was headed back to Mount, back to Barkley, who quickly played it over to Alonso for a beautiful outside of the box strike to the corner. And his hair's not as long, so I'm not as big of a fan of him at the moment, but he is still a dashing fellow as well. But a lovely strike from him. And he really plays that wingback role for Chelsea incredibly well. Because he's bigger than your normal outside backs, gets up and down the field well. It has a really good offensive sense to him.
Yeah. I think he definitely knows when to make that run that's going to relieve pressure, right? So, for instance, in this, in the build up for this, Mount is kind of, running east-west instead of north-south. He's being put off by a defender and shifts it. A nice pass, perfectly timed, perfectly weighted to Ross Barkley, who one touch passes it over to the empty left side, onto which Alonso runs. And if you want it on anybody's left foot, you want it on Alonso's left foot. Mm-hmm. And he has a clean strike that doesn't spin the ball. And the strike is about, 4 or 5 inches off the ground. So that ball just sails knuckleball style, bounces once right before the keeper and goes right into the back of the net. A beautiful, beautiful goal. I would argue that it would be the team goal of the season so far for Chelsea. Because
I could see that.
I don't think they've had quite as good a build-up as they did on that play. And
then you guys scored a third.
We did?
I'm just being a jerk because there's a Rudiger own goal.
Yeah, but what happened before that?
So here's Chelsea screwed by the VAR.
This one was interesting. This one was very, very interesting.
This one is the worst, though.
And Blake, I think you're right. That this could be like the tipping point and the pinnacle for if VAR is going to come back next year in the Premier League. I think odds are it's going to, but there needs to be some reform to this. Yeah, 100%, because this one is ridiculous.
The refs have already come out and all said, that should have been a red. I just don't what's the point?
Well, I mean, Ron, do you want to explain kind of what took place, or?
Sure. So there near the sideline, there's a bit of a fight over the ball. Azpilicueta has the ball and pushes it past to try to get to Jorginho or somebody else right in the area. And at that time, Tottenham player Giovanni
Lo Celso,
he escapes the red. He essentially kind of loses his balance just a little bit, regains his balance, sees Azpilicueta's on the floor, and stamps on his shin and his calf. Azpilicueta's kind of awkwardly laid to the side. Not only does he do it once, but he kind of pulls up his foot and then steps back down on him again and then rakes the shin.
That's the one that's the worst, because when you say stamp, get a chance to see it, it's a stamp. It's so blatant.
The other side of that makes it just as bad to me, his reaction and his fellow players around him, when it's done, when it's over, they are all ready for the red.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They know, he knows
it's coming.
It's coming.
Because it's a leg breaker. That stamp you can break somebody's ankle, shin, leg by doing that. And it's so deliberate. That's how it looks. Like, it's so blatant. And then you go to VAR and VAR not see that. And I don't even know if they gave him a card or anything, but.
No, it was a play on. They moved right on. No card, no nothing.
Ridiculous. I think they came out after and said, we got that wrong. Well, no, you got that wrong. Where was this in mid-game? Because Lo Celso later goes on to kind of score that third goal. Yes, it was technically an own goal, but caused it. Thankfully, he didn't score the game winner or anything.
Yeah.
But he was still even on the field. This is a serious, dangerous play here that could break somebody's leg.
Could you imagine if
VAR doesn't do anything about it?
If they'd have managed in the extra time to score an equalizer?
Yeah.
It feels like it's, like you said, the reaction every week, it's a kind of a broken record. People talk about VAR, they're complaining. This one, though, felt so... A lot of times there are ones that you go, okay, I don't understand when you see VAR, it's a penalty. But if you didn't have VAR and it was run a play, you might have missed that. So it's frustrating they don't call it, but I guess, or vice versa.
Or they would never would have caught that. That's by like a millimeter, but technically it's offside. So you're like, all right, whatever.
Right. This was this was wrong. And everybody agreed that it was wrong.
Yeah. And they came out later and said, hey, sorry, we got it wrong. But what is... So the question I have is, they're admitting they got it wrong, but we haven't heard anything as far as, when there's dangerous play and the refereeing staff and VAR haven't nailed it down, they will review it during the week and hand somebody a penalty and everybody's like, oops, sorry, we got it wrong.
Wait, you're right. A yellow could be up to a right. Something can happen in the week.
Yeah. So
is that gone now that VAR exists?
Not that I'm aware of, but because still not everything is reviewed, right? So if it's off the ball and it's not reviewable, but you punch somebody in the face, the league is going to come after you.
I think about that red card a few weeks ago. I'm forgetting the team, but it was Arsenal and
the Aubameyang card, yeah.
And it was like, oh, yeah, it's a red. I mean, you saw the replay, and before they even announced it, you're like, yeah, he's gone. It's a red. Wasn't malicious. Wasn't like, but it
wasn't a leg breaker like this.
But and everybody's like, and that's what I'm saying. That was so tame in comparison. I mean, if you miss this, what's the point of VAR?
It was a good camera angle. It's not like it was like blurred by somebody walking across at that time. It was like the one that you were like, oh, this is why VAR is here, to get this such an obvious one that was missed. Yep. Okay, it might have been missed by the ref because there's a little bit of a skirmish and ball's going out of bounds. There's bodies flying. It's by the bench, so Mourinho's there and Lampard's there. You might have missed that in real time. Then to go back and see that, whether you're in wherever they're at in Cheltenham or wherever, and not do anything and can look at that and go, that's not a red card? It's ridiculous. And it keeps going back also to, why doesn't the ref go to the pitch side monitor?
Because that happened a few weeks ago.
It's available and it's there. It happened a few weeks ago, but that was the first time it happened all year. And they got the call right.
Arlo White jumped all over it saying that was what should happen. Then the ref on the pitch maintains his integrity. He's running.
Why didn't, I think it was Michael Oliver in this game, go to the pitch side and make it yourself? Because I guarantee you, if he sees it, probably what we're all seeing, he's turning around, he's pulling that card out of his back pocket, top pocket, wherever, and brandishing that card. But how does somebody in a booth with nothing around them besides monitors, and that's their job for the day, not see that?
Because Jose knows where they live.
That's a valid point.
I think what's interesting is that the referee on the field doesn't go to the pitch side monitor unless the VAR says, hey, you want to take a second look at this, right? Other than that, they basically say, oh, yeah, this should have been this or that should have been that, and the referee doesn't have to go.
If you were a ref now, and that's how you'd been playing it, I'll let the guys in the booth do their thing, but you saw today's match. You weren't even the ref at the match. After this, I would be like, I'm always going to the sideline.
Right. Do you ever trust VAR?
I'm going to the side. I want to see it myself.
Not after that, you don't. Because it is the most blatant thing that we've seen to date with the best camera angles possible.
And I guarantee you we're going to have a weaker red card this coming weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
probably to try to make up for it and be like, see, we pay attention to the finer details of the game. We didn't pay attention to the big ass detail of the game where that motherfucker almost broke his leg. Sorry, that was harsh.
No, I think the thing where overall the overarching theme that we're finding out with VAR is that the lack of consistency is just killing a useful tool for the game.
Hey, welcome to MLS, guys. We were dealing with that for the last year or two as well.
We still are.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
Yeah, but there hasn't been anything across any league that I've seen that has been this blatant.
No, Bundesliga does it the best.
Oh, 100% they do.
Well, I'm just like, do what they do.
Yeah.
I can't speak to the specifics, but Bundesliga did it first before it was in the FIFA World Cup. And it was like, oh, if we do it like that. And remember the World Cup? We talked about this so much. It was great.
I don't know. Premier League took it and it up.
I don't know.
And
I don't know
still
what that's
are.
about.
Shambolic, I say.
Here. Anyway, like you said, Rudiger takes over for Cahill and scores himself an own goal. I mean, there's really not much he could do.
That happens.
The shot was kind of nutmegging him, but he was running at the same time. So his rear foot caught up with the ball and kind of helped push it along and completely faked out Caballero, who was going one way and the ball goes the next. It's kind of a classic redirect.
I almost feel like for Jose, getting an own goal is probably made him more mad than just losing 2-0.
Maybe.
Like, so this has been from the Chelsea point of view. The story that VAR is burying is the Dele Alli situation on the Spurs side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened in the, what's the previous match that Dele got real mad because Jose pulled him out?
Oh, it was the midweek Champions League game.
Yeah, Jose got real mad. Since we're talking about Jose Mourinho, let's talk about Arsene Wenger. Because Arsene Wenger has been doing a little commentating and being interviewed and talked about things.
Right.
And he basically comes down to saying, I would say the game is, when he was talking about this Chelsea Spurs match, and he does not like how Mourinho is handling the situation at all. He says it looks like there's some unrest there. He told BN Sports. And then Wenger says, when Dele Alli came out last time, he didn't like it. So is he punished or not? I would say the game is too big to punish him on that, because you can have a discussion after the game and say, look, I don't tolerate that. And if you do it again, I keep you out. But this is a big game and you want to sort out the problem before the game. You need this, because right now, but Man United, heck, even Arsenal, there are clubs from like 9th on up that could squeeze you out if you're the Spurs from being in the Champions League. And this year, you're getting a gift. We haven't even talked the band. Band that Man City is facing, if held, makes fifth place in the Premier League, Champions League.
Yep.
So you, as having a little bit of a rough time with Spurs, have a shot to be in there. And I would, in this case, completely agree with Arsene Wenger. Or if Jose still feels like he has to leave him out, then it's something worse than what you might see on the surface. Is this the beginning of the Jose? Is it going to take 3 years to piss off the people that are great? Like, what's going on there?
Dele Alli's
but he's a prima donna. Like,
he's a punk in the game too.
Yeah, kind of a baby.
Yeah, that's not what a lot of people are questioning is the tactic in the winter transfer window to not bring in another number 9, because right now Tottenham is really struggling because Harry Kane's still out.
Son
he's trying
is
to find
injured,
and Son, is I think out at least
was
until the end of the year or like very, very late in the year. So there's your number 9, and then your auxiliary number 9 who's played well, both out. You're relying on Lucas Moura now to try to put the ball in the back of the net, and who's giving him the ball? Where's it's coming from? Bergwijn's been bright, and since he's come in, but you have no out and out number 9 that you could put up there and get you a goal or two. Chelsea do have a plethora of that in a way with Batshuayi and Giroud. You need a little bit of depth there, and that's not what Tottenham have right now in that position.
Yeah, and also I think Tottenham is really missing the creativity of Eriksen.
Yeah. Oh,
now that he's gone,
another big. Like, that's a big loss. And I'm not saying he ran away from Jose because he'd barely been there.
He was always on his way out before Jose got there.
Jose wasn't going to, if someone was going to keep him, it might have been a Jose, but
Well, and Jose, when he got there, really wanted Toby Alderweireld to re-sign, who was also in a similar boat as Eriksen, because Jose wanted him at United, and the deal just never got done. Eriksen was always on his way out.
It is also, we should like not put this necessarily on Jose. We were all saying it back when Pochettino was still there. Was this felt like this was it, and now you're never going to keep these players. You know, when we were looking at when Poch still there going, your chance was the last 2 years to try and do something, because at this point, some of these guys, they want trophies elsewhere, and right. Jose's just dealing with that aftermath currently.
Yeah,
but the Dele Alli thing is just a kind of, we do know Jose and players, and you don't know, is Dele beloved in the locker room or not? And they're like, yeah, whatever. Who knows? But just, man, whenever it's Jose,
it just reaches that familiarity. Yeah. That's all, right? Because that happens everywhere he goes.
Yeah, that gets a little nervous.
So you wonder if this is the beginning of that unrest or not, and or Dele if it's just a temperamental player.
Dele Alli, like a player worth money. Don't shave off some of that money by being dumb.
Right.
Either on his side. Play out, man.
Yeah.
Do what you can do.
That leaves Chelsea holding the 4th spot on 44 points. And Tottenham fall to 6th after that match on 40 points. Manchester United bumps up 1 to 5th. And I'm sure we'll talk about those fellows here shortly.
Yes, we will. You just reminded me I needed to pull up a Premier League table myself. So I had a feeling that particular match would end up taking a bit of the conversation. So we might move a little quicker through some of these other guys. Unfortunately, the next one, our beloved, I think most of our had kind of a second team in Bournemouth. Oh, now they're sitting with 26 points. They desperately need points because 24th, I believe, whoever's in 17th has 24 points, I do believe. So they need to get out. I think Bournemouth is currently 15th. Am I remembering that correctly?
Bournemouth 16th, 16 on 26.
All right. 17, not good.
And they lose to Burnley 3-0.
They also had a case of the old VARs here.
Yes, they did.
In the 22nd minute, a called back goal off of a corner from a technical handball in the lead up to a goal. This is one that gives another not bright spot on VAR, because it's something that while they have implemented this year that a goal cannot be scored from a handball in the build up to that goal or something to that extent. And this came off, I think, Tyrone Mings' top of his shoulder. He knew nothing about it as he's spinning around as it comes off a Burnley player first and then ricochets off of his top of his shoulder as his head is turned in the opposite way. Knew nothing about it. Perfectly good goal.
He's also not...
He's trying.
He's not contorting his body to get to it either.
Top of shoulder. Yeah. I feel like there are VAR goals this year that were allowed the top of shoulder.
There has been. And there's one in another game, and I don't remember which game it is, so I'll have to look it up. That was one that was spotlighted by Kyle Martino on the Saturday coverage about showing that it went off of a similar spot and was played on the opposite side of the field, but led eventually to a goal on the other side of the field. You're just like, okay, this is getting a little out of control here. And again, VAR sees this and this minuscule, really, we've seen this play happen 100 times and nothing. And then they go on to lose.
I mean, they're probably going to lose anyway, but yes, 3-0 to Burnley. Always hard to play at Turf Moor, but Bournemouth, man, they are hurt. They're lucky that teams below them, as tight as they are in points, I still feel like
it might squeak by.
They might squeak by, but that means unless they make some changes, they would be at the top of my list to be relegated the following year if they survived. They got to do some stuff.
Well, their next matches, unfortunately, are Chelsea, Liverpool, Crystal Palace, Wolves, Newcastle.
Now, they have weirdly given Liverpool trouble over the years.
Mm-hmm. Especially wherever the game is at. If they're down south, they've always given trouble there.
But again, it doesn't matter. That lineup, woof. I mean, that's
a hard one for them.
Yeah.
Not one of those is going to be an easy win.
Any of those you just named, if you pulled a draw out of it, would be huge. Be good be a good point. I mean, that's let alone win it. Like
And
Burnley, though, on the other side. Sorry, Ron.
No, it's just that your first two games are going to be against fourth place Chelsea, first place Liverpool. That doesn't give you the morale
Certainly
going
doesn't help them,
into the 5 games, right? If you squeak a point out of, or a win out of Chelsea and or Liverpool, that could be a big morale boost. So they got to, if they're going to do anything, now is the time in the season to do it.
And actually, Chelsea's another club they have given trouble to over the years, a top 6 club. So, and Lampard's Chelsea right now, a little up and down. So that might be their best shot. Yeah.
Burnley, though, on the other end, quietly at the 10th. Just.
No, but they're fine.
They're fine. Just
yep.
Pushing through. Not the best Burnley we've seen in the past number of years, but sitting right there behind Arsenal in 10th. And they've quietly been solid this year.
And I think they have a really good chance of probably getting up maybe 9, maybe 8 by the end of the season. Their next 5 are Newcastle, Tottenham, Man City, Watford, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, and they're not too far off of that at all. So,
and the way Man City's going, they could probably get a draw out of that if everything went their way. So there's a good place to get a point. I think it's possible.
You mentioned Crystal Palace, Newcastle in that run. That's our next match. Crystal Palace over Newcastle 1-0. Very late red card for Newcastle.
Yeah, but a wonderful, wonderful free kick by Patrick Van Arnholt in this game.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Right before the end of the half, and it was a strike and a half, and just enough to lead Palace on.
Felt like a game winner at the end of the half.
Yes, exactly. And a much needed goal for Roy and the boys. But the red card at the end by Newcastle, very poor red to take. Really, really, really poor red to take.
Yeah, what's the point?
What's the point, and why do it in that fashion? It was essentially a straight red for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity on being kind of the last minute in the defense, and just no need for it at that point. It's 90th plus. You're not countering off of that real quick because you haven't been doing that all game. So just a stupid red to take.
And let's see, Newcastle, they are 31 points, 14th right now. Yes,
solid for them.
18th has 24 points. So you're probably fine, but you don't get dumb. Don't play the rest of the season out smart. Yep. Yeah, especially after they got trounced by mid-table Masters Arsenal the previous week. Thank goodness we're finally not at a negative goal differential, y'all.
Mid-table Masters,
something like that.
That's brilliant.
Got to get that shirt made.
Newcastle plays, right? Newcastle plays Burnley, Southampton, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, and Sheffield United.
Now, except for Sheffield, who we all know is a top 6 team. The rest of those clubs, the only problem for Newcastle is these are all teams that desperately need to win, and Newcastle is a beatable team by each of them. Conversely, it goes the other way,
right?
But some of them have more to fight for. So It's actually kind of a rough run for Newcastle going forward because everybody they play is going to be throwing everything at because they are going to be circled on the calendar for this is a game that we can and need to get those 3 points out of.
Yep. Add momentum. And morale is going to be huge for Newcastle. For some reason this season, I feel like the morale award goes to Newcastle. When they're up, they are great. And they are flying high. You can tell the defense is has a bit of a cohesive front. They understand and talk with the midfield. And then when they have zero morale, they may as well be 2 leagues down. So the morale in this is going to be huge. You're going to have to come off on the front foot against Burnley, and you're going to have to win this one against Burnley to keep that morale up against Southampton, which is a completely winnable game for them.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Sheffield United on March 14th is going to be the hard game for him.
Hey, man, that guy, Sheffield, coach of the year, which does bring us actually to the next
Wilder.
Next match,
really
right?
F***ing sharp.
Oh man,
love it. Him. The next one yes, it's Sheffield United and Brighton Hove Albion. Kind of glide over that, but Sheffield United goal. Edda Stevenson Stevens, 26-minute, easily top 3 goal of the year so far. What a strike from the back. Off of a corner, bounced out to him. His eyes were on it the entire time. Nice, clean strike, a little bit of swerve to it, and beautiful goal. Get a chance, definitely see that. And then Neil Mbappe, I don't know if I'm saying that entirely right, but he, just a couple minutes later, gets his goal. He hasn't gotten one since, I don't know, sometime during October or something. Still is their highest scorer on the team and levels them up. And they both get out of there with a point, and a much-needed point for Brighton and Sheffield.
Big point for Brighton.
Yeah, and kind of if you're Sheffield on the way that you've been playing, you kind of hope for better going into that. But a big point for Brighton is that kind of gets them 2 points off of Bournemouth.
They're 15th now. Yeah, and one win for them. They're with the Newcastle. That's what I mean. Like Newcastle can't slack off. Brighton look a team that was not going to do it, but man, they might just squeeze by. I mean, those bottom 3, the West Ham, Watford, and Norwich. I don't care that Watford and West Ham both have 24 points. I just don't see Watford eclipsing that. Now, West Ham, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, that's the battle, I think, right there. Yeah. Man, there's something about Watford this go round.
Yeah, not good. Although, when we get to them, Neil Pearson, is that his name? He's
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. Yes, sure. He's trying to get them back up to
It's
safety, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to do it.
Sheffield's next 5, Norwich and Newcastle, I think both very easily winnable. And then they have probably 2 hard games back to back: Man United and Tottenham.
No, Sheffield's better than both those teams.
I mean, it's true, but it's going to be harder.
I love Ferris. This time doesn't even like.
I don't know. We've been on. We'll get to United, but they've been on an uptick as of lately, beating the mighty Chelsea.
Here's the crazy thing about Sheffield. That's a game they can go compete at. They can go win. I mean, like they are just there. If Liverpool was not having the insane season they were having, they would be the talk of the town. I feel like you know.
So you got to watch out for March 21st. That's when they play Man United. And April 4th is when Sheffield plays Tottenham.
See, Ferris, we can go to that Pints and Paws celebration on March 21st and go find a pub to go watch the game at and get some beer festival in. Yeah.
Those will be some fun matches to watch. I just think the surprise fun team to watch is Sheffield United, right?
Awesome.
They're just so much fun to watch.
It's reminiscent of like when Bournemouth came in, how they were like, look, we got what we were by playing crazy, just full throttle. We're going to try to score as much as we can in football, and we're not going to change it. And it worked. But man, Sheffield's got more of an overall package coming into this Premier League. How many people picked them to be knocked right out?
So many.
I think I had them in the top 10.
You had them in the top 10? I'm
pretty sure.
Was that your Leicester-ish?
It might have been,
I don't remember mine. It's been a bit.
I'll have to bring them all up at the end of the year, but yeah.
Pretty sure the way this season's gone, whatever mine was is terrible.
Attaboy.
So this moves, speaking of terrible, we got Southampton versus Aston Villa, 2-0. The Villains, not in relegation at the moment, barely.
Yeah, I think they're going down, though. They just don't have enough firepower.
Do you think West Ham can pull it out above them? I think probably
one of those 2 teams, either West Ham or Watford, will be able to pull it out.
That is overlooked a bit because West Ham getting relegated would be a big deal.
Especially, well, I mean, it'll be a big deal, but I don't think it'll be a surprise.
It's not an Aston Villa. Not knocking Aston Villa fans. I'm just saying West Ham's been around for a bit in the Premier League. They've quite the following.
Because we've been talking about West Ham faltering for quite some time. And the past, I don't know, season, maybe 2, they've, been able to squeak out and be.
Well, just remember, Mirac is always Brighton, New Hove in Albion.
Brighton Hove.
Thank you. Albion. I can't, too many words. Brighton Hove Albion was always, they did it. They're somewhere in that 10th to 12th place. And they're gone now.
They no mas.
So West Ham, you're just like, man, if they slip, that could be a bit.
And West Ham is going to play Liverpool on Monday.
Good luck with that.
At 3. That's going to be
4-0.
Dangerous. That's going to be a hard game.
Didn't they just play and didn't Liverpool just beat them?
I just need Mohamed Salah to get a hat trick to help me out with my fantasy team right now.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I haven't checked mine.
I haven't looked at mine.
Aubameyang scored.
We've
Van Aanholt
noticed
scored,
you
so
haven't
okay.
checked yours.
Am I at the bottom?
Ferris and I got within a point of each other. Now he eked back up again. I'm just trying to catch Ferris. But our top three is shaking up. I mean, Jeff Vuctus, he's pulled up quite a bit. Kim has not been the just dominator. It's been a fun little season at the top there.
Yeah, right now we got Gary at top, Jeff, Kim in second and third respectively. I currently sit in 6 on 1,422 points. Blake, dropped a little bit here. You're on 1,336 points. You're in 11th.
It was a
hey,
rough
Ron, you want to know where you're at?
I'm all the way at the bottom.
This is going to hurt. That's your team name. Yeah, you're right. You're at rock bottom in 16th.
How many points?
About to get relegated. You were on 1,074 points.
Careful, Ron. You get relegated, you got to go play NFL fantasy.
Hey, I won that this year. I won that one
so
this year.
You get promoted again, so I guess we'll keep you in the league next year.
Southampton, frustrating. Not for anybody else, but just for me because Ings did not score.
No,
and I needed that.
Yeah. Shane Long did score real early of the goal, and then the Armstrong goal really late was actually kind of funny. It was off of a corner, and just go and try to find that because Pepe Reina, who's like 74 years old in goal for Aston Villa now, was up for the corner to try to get the late equalizer, and didn't even try to run back. A light jog that then turned into who the cares, we're gonna lose. Like, just he's not even. It was weird to see, but
it was a
reason number 432 why Villa's probably going to go down, and good for Southampton because they've got a couple points here as of late, and I think they're doing enough that they are going to stay up.
Is anyone else really broken up that Aston Villa's probably history?
Whoa! Don't we got a good listener, Matt Call. We're thinking about you.
Matt, you're super cool, but down with the Villa.
And I'll be thinking about you when they probably get relegated.
And when Jack Grealish comes to Man United in the summer,
yep,
I'll be hitting you up on the socials.
Man,
yeah,
Arsenal will take that guy too in a heartbeat.
I think I have a bad taste in my mouth about Aston Villa because I know someone who's just a pompous twit.
Not you, Matt.
No, not you, Matt. Who is just a pompous twit about Aston Villa. And he's constantly talking romper room f***ery about how amazing Aston Villa is. And, oh, God, I just can't stand it.
It's good to have you back in studio, Ron.
So it's so nice that...
it was fun to write that word down on the bleep sheet.
How'd you write that one again there, Blake?
Bleep sheet, man, I'm telling you, there's going to be a pod spinoff bleep sheet. If we didn't have the Brewtiful Game name, it would have been called the bleep sheet. That would have been our podcast name.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
There you go.
Does that move us to
Leicester City, Man City. Tale of two cities.
Leicester City
down
just
second.
having a bit of, they're down, but in a season where they still probably get in the Champions League because of how everybody else is, though.
I don't know. Schmeichel kept them in the game here a lot. They gained enough points earlier in the year to give them a little bit of a buffer,
saying,
but
like,
they keep going down.
But who's gonna catch them to pull them out?
Will Chelsea, Man United, or Tottenham actually?
United's on a bit of an uptick. Sheffield United's been good all year. Wolves are still there, and then Tottenham. Like, there's a lot of teams behind them that are really fighting. And yes, they're 6 points above Chelsea at the moment. But there's still a lot of games
out. No way. Nope.
I don't think Tottenham will do it.
Manchester United's not going to do it. They're 9 points out. The closest might be Chelsea. There may be a third, fourth switch, but I don't know. But I doubt it. Leicester City isn't playing that bad.
Vardy hasn't scored in a long time. I know this.
I know because he's gone from my fantasy league as of now. You know who I put on there?
Schmeichel kept him in this game. Who'd you put in there?
Well, Mr. Magical Everton right now.
Calvert-Lewin?
Yeah.
Oh, did you? He scored a bicycle kick today. We'll
yes.
get to that in a little bit.
Yes.
But Man City on the other end, a lot of controversy this past week.
Another bunch of inconsistent guys playing in second right now.
And apparently very inconsistent financial folks working for the club as well, because their books do not align with the regulations that UEFA would like to see, and possibly the Premier League. And they
2-year
have
ban.
been banned for 2 years from European competition.
They're going to appeal it.
One that they will. And if you think, what was the last appeal that we had?
Chelsea's.
Chelsea, which
and how was that reduced?
that didn't work out for them.
By half, I thought.
Half.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't 2 windows, it ended up being 1. That's probably what's going to happen with City. They'll probably get 1. What's be more interesting to see is if the Premier League, who has similar financial restrictions.
Well, they've already said right. So if FIFA found the problem, then the Premier League will. They're going to lose.
It's not FIFA, it's UEFA.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah.
If the Premier League does, there could be a points reduction there, and that could be interesting because if it takes them out of Champions League, they're what right now it's start taking them out of Champions League, but it gets them down there low enough. That's another millions and millions of dollars that they're not making right now. Being out of Champions League for 2 seasons is hella expensive.
Now,
But does anybody know what the harshest points reduction has been?
Not in the in the Premier League. I don't know.
And the only reason I ask that is because
I don't
currently Man City
you got to drop a lot. Exactly.
Yeah, currently Man City's at 57, right? Which means
I guess it'd be like 10 points.
to get all the way out. No, even if they drop 10 points, they're still in
second
third,
or third. Yeah.
right?
But
So I don't think this is going to hurt them very much.
No, I mean, if you lost to 10 now, I mean, depending on how things go, I mean,
Right.
yeah, it could. Dude,
morale doesn't seem all that good.
I'm just telling you, I feel like back in North London, like Arteta's sitting in his apartment cracking a beer, like this
Got out of there right
This
now.
is why I'm
Yeah.
so glad I got this gig.
Or it's a result of what Arteta did for the team.
Well, not financially though.
No,
because he
but-
wasn't in charge of
but,
that.
Like keeping the morale up through things like this.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys have forgotten, but this isn't the first time Man City's run into financial fair play issues.
Maybe states shouldn't own teams, guys. I don't want to get political here, but maybe country states should not own teams. Anyway, going on.
So maybe Man City is feeling the Arteta loss from a morale and from a standpoint of keep yourselves focused on the game, right? Don't worry about any of this financial stuff. Keep playing soccer.
Yeah, but prior it was this guy. There's talk like maybe Pep is going to be gone after this year or two, and like Arteta was the guy to inherit the team. Like, well, look at what he could have inherited, and now it's like, oh my God, look at what he could have inherited. It no longer makes the jump to a struggling Arsenal team.
Yeah.
You're not even like thinking that's a bad move at all.
He could have seen the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, this is a good opportunity for me. I'm up out.
Deuces. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, in Champions League, you have the possibility of losing De Bruyne, who's coming out of contract here soon, and a few other players. What was interesting, though, is Pep didn't talk about football a lot this week. He stood full force behind what is going on there and saying it's all kosher, it's fine. I pledge my allegiance to this club for the next few years. Don't worry about it. This is fine. And have really backed the ownership and the club 100% in this. Interesting to take that stance. Like, you're an employee of the club in a sense, and that's what you want to do. But Pep, are you an accountant? Did you personally sign checks? Did you personally do that thing? Like,
here goes,
you're
guys.
not in the back office.
Well, sure, but he's got to say that stuff. Though.
Correct.
I mean,
but like
to
that's
Ron's
just putting
point,
yourself out there, because if that's upheld or something, then Pep looks like he's complicit in that.
I think it's for the player. I think it's what Ron's. I think it's morale for the players. I think you got to be a strong leader, and no matter what happens, if they find out
if they find out that the funds aren't correct, which there's a good case they're not. I don't think this is going to besmirch Pep's reputation at all, even if he does come out and say, I support the team, because he's still got to keep his club in second and he's still got to keep competing. So he's going to do whatever he can to keep the focus off of all that crap and put it on.
I will say this:
coming out in the
if you
media and doing that very strongly is an interesting move from Pep.
If you were booted out of the Champions League for the next 2 years, if that gets held up, if you're Pep next year, you have to win the Premier League or you're gone. Whether that's the team getting ready or you being like, I'm out. Like, I just can't imagine it would go past a season if the ban were to be upheld, and you couldn't mount a Premier League run of the title.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth with that, but
because you don't have to worry about. I mean, in a way, there are pressures off.
Yeah.
So you should win. But to Ferris' point, though, now people who are like, well, I want to play in the Champions League, I'm out. Like, you may not have a choice about how good your team will or will not be.
Right. But also let's talk about what's going on the field, right? Because Manchester City missing 5 of their last 7 penalties in all competition.
What is up with Aguero?
Man, Aguero's penalty take to yesterday, whenever it was.
Yesterday, yeah.
It was some rookie.
They got lucky.
Great save by yeah.
I mean,
poor pen, but good save.
Yes, great save. But we're used to watching a really nice, smoothly stroked penalty being taken by Aguero, and he's just not delivering. What's the deal?
By the way, I'm working on a movie right now called Smoothly Stroked Penalty, just so you know.
What kind of movie is that?
Yeah, thank you, Ron.
Where'd you shoot that, Miami?
That's the name of your sex tape.
Whatever's going on, they got so lucky they won the game that if they did lose 10 points, they could drop to 5th by the time the season's done. And people are done. So here goes. We messed it up, guys.
What?
Pochettino, the prediction wasn't that he was going to come into Man United. He's going to be at Man City to have to rebuild after the disaster they've had to deal with.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Well, let's go to the fair side of Manchester, shall we? The team that plays by
There
all the
isn't one.
rules.
Hold on. That's
is
some bullshit right
fairest
there.
of all the clubs in the land, the one, the only Manchester United.
Yeah, everything he just said is complete fallacy.
It is complete truth. It is upstanding, and we are the proper side of Manchester. We are a good, solid 3-0 win against a Watford at Old Trafford. And guys, I'm pretty sure that Zlatan has moved about as my main man crush, and I have a new person.
Uh-oh.
Who do you think that is?
The guy I just added my fantasy team for next week.
Bruno Fernandes?
Yeah.
Damn right.
Bruno. Gorgeous.
Hello, Bruno. Bruno has just ignited so much creativity, so much passing, so much movement, so much delivery, so much today. First goal for United on a penalty, a smoothly taken penalty, little cheeky, not the bestly placed, but very, very good pen. And he has just ignited a lot. He's been what we've missed, a creative number 10 in the midfield. He's opened up and he's pulled some strings that is really starting to click for this United team. He later had an assist on the 3rd goal to Mason Greenwood, if I'm not mistaken. And he is come in, and for the price tag and for all of the hype so far, he has shown up for every game that he's been in. And that's what you want to see from a big name player that comes in with so much hype.
Look, buddy,
he's delivering.
I feel so good about the few games he's played.
Stage.
He is my gamble for my fantasy. He is solely responsible for Blake's fantasy season at this point.
And you know what?
I'm going out on a limb right now.
If he propels your team to get above me in fantasy, which I doubt will happen, I will still love him just the same.
Just to put this wonderful douchebag parade that's going on about Manchester United right now. They beat Watford, who is in 19th,
It's all good.
on 24 points.
So what you're saying is they're not 20th.
At negative 19. You should have rolled over them.
Right, but we beat Chelsea at Chelsea, who's in 4th on 44 points.
And you all should have been relegated.
3 points.
And we had 2 goals called back for romper room.
Personal problems.
So you're not this ticker tape parade team that you're boasting about.
We are 3 points off, and we have beat Chelsea, I think, in every match we played this year. So, yes, we can do it against the Watford. We can also do it against Leicester, who we've beaten this year, Chelsea, who we've beaten this year, and the only draw that Liverpool has this year.
So if you're so great, why are you sitting in front?
Yeah,
fifth?
we
are just sitting and waiting. We're like the cat that just waits in the bushes. We can't beat Arsenal right now. But funny you say that, because old friend of the pod, Phil, and I have a nice wager on this year, and I think he's dumb, and Blake, I don't think he would have.
You ready for this, brother? We got some Moo Thunder left. What's happening?
Okay, hold on. All right.
Now he's talking some sense.
Here we go. So Phil and I's bet here is that He bet me $50 that Arsenal will finish above United in the table at the end of the year. If you want to take that bet for a Moo Thunder, I will shake your hand right now, sir.
Ooh, that's
Man United's got 41 points. Arsenal has 37. They're undefeated in 2020. We've scored 7 goals in 2 matches.
So
right now we sit in Champions League place if the
Manchester United's next 5 matches: Everton, Man City, Manchester Derby, Tottenham, Sheffield United, and Brighton Hove and Albion.
That's a tough run for Man United.
Then Arsenal's next 5.
15 points right there.
Hold on.
Whatever. What a bunch of Arsenal will be playing West Ham, Brighton Hove and Albion, Southampton, Norwich, Wolves.
And they'll draw all of them. And they will draw every single one of those.
You have an entirely winnable schedule for the next 5.
I just need to draw those while you lose some, and we're doing okay. Like,
do you want to take that bet?
I got to check. Do we have the Moo Thunder, or is it that Fish Head IPA?
Oh, that might change the bet. That thing was brutal.
Snapperhead?
Yeah.
I don't know. You want me to go check?
I was going to say, I'm feeling confident enough to say, feeling a little froggy. I know we're going to get to Arsenal. Feeling froggy. I think we could take Tottenham. I think we could eclipse Tottenham before the season's done. But you throw out Man United, who I technically think is probably better set up team than Tottenham is right now.
And only 1 place higher.
Well, wait. Can we verify that there's a Moo Thunder in the fridge?
No, there's a Snapperhead in there.
The Snapperhead. Oh,
yeah.
God, that changed.
Yeah. It's Snapperhead. I mean, don't worry, but we can find some more pork slap. You know, we'll.
If you want to do it, I'll do it with you.
I refuse to buy another one of their whole beers.
Oh,
so it's what's in the fridge, or one of you is buying it.
I ain't buying from that brewery.
yeah, you are.
I'm not rewarding their tastic beers.
That's actually one of the names of their beers. Isn't it?
Fantastic. It's a farmhouse ale.
Exactly. That's what it is.
I've just
farmhouse my ass.
I've just started putting
from the outhouse more
and
like
time frame on the bleep sheet and going 5, 6, 7, 8.
Who do we appreciate? Ron, Blake, Ferris. Oh, yes, indeed.
That was so dumb.
You know what wasn't dumb? Back to the soccer. Anthony Martial's goal in the 58th minute was cheeky as shit. You get a chance to see that. Kind of not rounded the keeper, but was in a duel with the keeper, if you will. And Ben Foster used to play at United a long time ago. Had a good save. Martial kind of pulls it back and then just cheekily chips the keeper in like right in front of him, and it's just a lovely goal. But yeah, United go on to win 3-0. Greenwood with the third from a Bruno Fernandes assist, and United roll onto whatever the next 5 games Ron just said was.
Your lineup is your run up. It's so tempting because those are harder matches.
You let me know there, feller.
I just lost all my scores on the ESPN page.
Move on to Wolves and Norwich.
Thank you.
Which was a very similar as United. What?
Norwich.
Oh, whatever. Piss off.
Come on, it's Norwich. We've been corrected.
Yes, we have been corrected. How do you say it again?
Norwich.
Yeah. Norwich comes up in.
What a.
I'm just being a there. Yeah. 3-0 win against whatever that team we just said was. And honestly, Diego Jota is on a scoring streak. He scored a hat trick midweek in the Europa League, and I think scored another 2 in this match. And Wolves are kind of like Burnley, but in a little bit more stylistic way, really playing very, very well and just quietly getting wins, getting points, and staying high up in that table. And they're solid.
They're sitting in 8th right now. And their next 5 matches are Tottenham, Brighton Hove Albion, West Ham United, Bournemouth, and down with the Villa.
And you know what? They're in 8th, which is not, they were in 6th last year, and that's what got them into the Europa League. But they're also in the Europa League now and in the knockout rounds and playing very, very well in those rounds. So for a club like Wolves to be doing both as successfully as they are, They're doing all right.
That brings us around. Doing all right. And that is Arsenal hosting Everton. For man, am I glad I had a free day and was here to watch that match. I don't think 5 goals was in my prediction for the totality of that match at all. Arsenal had actually just come off the first time they'd had 2 clean sheets in a row.
In like what, 35 years or something?
There's some crazy, I'll try to find them. There's some crazy stats right now since Arteta has come in that gives me a little faith that things are turning around. No, within 40, I think it was at the 49th or 45th second, Calvert-Lewin from Everton scores. I felt like the game started, I blinked, and Everton was up 1-0. And you're just like, ugh.
This could be a rough day for Arsenal.
This is going to be really, really rough.
But then the stream of yellow cards.
But here, much like the Delhi, well, different situation, but the question is about not playing Delhi Ali against Tottenham. Question was, there again on the bench is Lacazette not starting a match.
Yeah, boggled my mind.
And did it because it looks like Arteta was right, because he started the young one, Nketiah, Eddie, who, dude, he scores in the 27th.
But so Lacazette has been doing the same.
No, he has not.
He scored midweek in the Europa League.
Finally, he has gotten a couple of goals, but he has had a dry spell, man, where he has had a rough go of it.
He's been playing.
He is, yeah, but when he has, he's not making the most of it. So there's something going on in practice that Arteta says that he'd rather give a chance to Nketiah. Eddie gets the start. Eddie scores in the 27th minute, man. And the place went freaking bananas. Followed quickly by Aubameyang, which I believe was that an assist by Saka.
I think so.
After
no,
who had that assist? Or
David Luiz.
The Nketiah. Who got the? Let me pull up that.
Saka gave Nketiah the.
That's who it was. So the other young, and he had been pulled, and Saka had to come in too. Kolasinac got pulled off.
Kolasinac.
Yeah. So another young'un, Saka comes in.
Being obnoxious.
He aces it. Aubameyang ends up with the day for a brace, but before the half ends, Richarlison gets in another goal.
Who had a yellow card just minutes earlier.
Right. So then it's 1 goal from Aubameyang, 1 from Eddie Nketiah. We got Calvert-Lewin in the first 45 seconds, and then right before the end of the half for Richarlison, and it's 2-2, and all the momentum sucked out of what Arsenal had done. Then the second half starts, and they break a record for a Premier League match since 90-something, where 2 goals are scored at the beginning of each half within the first 55 seconds. Because Aubameyang gets his second goal 25 seconds into the second half. It's now 3-2.
A wonderful assist by Pepe.
Oh, great. By the way, can we just go and say what it is? That goal was scored by Pierre-Emerick Thierry Henry Aubameyang. Because that wasn't just me. Oh, man, how Henry that goal was, dude. Trucking down.
He has a lot to do to even be in the same stratosphere.
And he's 18 goals right now for this year, man. He's, as Arteta said,
I like him as a striker, but he's not Henry, and he ain't going to be that at Arsenal.
Got the people around him.
As soon as he uses the handball hidden by the ref and scores the goal against Ireland, he can be Henry.
But
and play for the New York Red Bulls and coach the Montreal Impact this year.
Hey, man. You know what happened?
That's the team he's coaching for? I think so.
At the end of the day...
Man, Ferris is all pent up. Look at him. He's just all like...
At the end of the day...
all piss and vinegar.
What was nuts was the rest of the game felt like at any second Arsenal was going to give it up and it was going to be a draw. Everton had so many chances and they could not convert. And Ron said it. The yellows... Schneiderlin, Richarlison gets one. Gilbert Sigurdsson a yellow. Andre Gomez, which all
it's cheating.
Yeah,
it's all Everton players.
So
Arsenal didn't do anything bad that game. Henri should have gotten a yellow for using his hand in the damn box.
Well, what they've got to get with, like, the problem with Arsenal is an inconsistency. At moments, they were great. At other moments, they let off the gas, right?
And how does that sound to you?
And the
very Arsene Wenger-like.
No, it sounds...
that was inconsistent was his middle name for the last 5-10 years of his existence in the Premier League.
10 sounds...
17 years. 17 years is when
sounds...
How long is he at the club?
45 years.
The whole time.
Besides the invincible year.
Here's the deal. Here's what Arteta's the man. Who's been good? Mustafi. Those jokes have stopped.
Those two words don't go together. Sorry.
But they have, man. Like, I mean, he's been doing really, really good. I'm trying to find the stats. There's some...
So you want to do a snapperhead bet?
We're getting there. There's some really... It's crazy what's happened since Arteta's come in. He came in the middle of the festive fixtures, didn't really have a chance to get alone with the team for a few weeks until that break in Saudi Arabia. But it's something like how many goals they allowed up until him, and then that starts greatly shrinking down. So they really haven't added any better defensive players, but he's managed to get a better defense out of what he has. The whole, like, what do you do with Lacazette? Why doesn't here's the thing. At this point, there's been enough managers who aren't starting Lacazette and Aubameyang that something's up.
Right.
Something's happening during the week. And then the young guys like Saka, Martinelli, they all say the thing they like about Arteta is he lets us know it doesn't matter how old you are on this team. If you show the goods in the week, you get a chance. It's so, I mean, thank goodness. I'm so glad that they ended up signing him and that Arteta's there right now. Because the other one could have been Carlo Ancelotti, who's obviously who they were playing against, and he has turned Everton around as well. I just don't think that's what that club needed. They needed someone who was going to be there, who could be there for a bit and rebuild things. I'm very, very, very happy with the art. I will say I barely breathed for a while there, the last 20 minutes of that game, but I'm happy with Arteta.
So the question is, does Arsenal shoot for a minimum of 4 places up the table to keep Manchester United?
Well, here's another stat, Ron. I don't know.
Then.
What does this make us think? After scoring just 8 goals, this is from LT Arsenal on Twitter. After scoring just 8 goals in Arteta's first 7 Premier League games, Arsenal have now scored 7 goals in the last 2 league games. The introduction of Ceballos, which that's a guy that was brought in and not really used, and now they're playing him in midfield, and he's looking great. He isn't great defensively, but creatively moving forward. Makes us, as this guy said, makes us more vulnerable defensively, but definitely helps when it comes to moving the ball forward quicker. Pepe, this big record signing, but not a lot really, it wasn't showing for it. Now all of a sudden it's looking better. I think that says to me that Arsenal can end above Man United and Ferris is going to have to drink a snapperhead.
That's what you think?
I'll do it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The handshake heard round the world.
God, I could be out $50 to do a snapperhead by the end of the year.
Last time it was me goading Ferris, who was on the comeback trail.
Yep.
Now we'll see.
I'll take it. I just took your hand.
So the question is, what kind of horse are you going to try and put in the beer to make it taste better, Blake?
I don't think you
The
can.
ice cream itself was quite good. But.
That snapperhead, I don't think there's anything that you can add to it.
I don't know.
That beer was brutal.
Oh, God, United, just please finish. Just 1 point, or tied on points and just goal difference. That'd be amazing.
Hey, buddy, we're no longer negative goal differential.
No, you're not, but you were for a while. I think we're up there like 12th.
No, I think every Arsenal fan should be totally happy with Arteta. Here's the thing: because of how the rest of the league has played out, we, honest to God, have a shot to try and get in the Champions League. That's insane. Now, part of that is because of how poor a lot of clubs are being in the top 6, but that's a big turnaround. I'm very excited about Arteta's tenure at Arsenal.
I think you should be. It's going to be a tall order to get
to be able to.
Because you have to get past the Wolves, you got to get past Sheffield, Tottenham, United, Chelsea, even. Maybe Leicester, but those...
No, they just got to get higher than you.
Yeah.
True, but they still have to get up there. Like, I
saying,
don't know.
But to defensively tighten...
Don't worry about the people above us. They just need to get above you.
But to defensively tighten up a team that is that team and shrink the number of goals scored. Plus, the thing that struck me today, 2 or 3 times, bad giveaways by Arsenal that did not lead to goals because the rest of the team jumped to it. whereas before it just felt like, well, that was stupid. I just watched it get walked in at that point. And the 2 goals scored against them were Arsenal kind of falling asleep on set pieces. The second goal was a crazy one. It was bouncing all over the place.
Arsenal have always been bad at set pieces. Since the Wenger days with the zonal marking, they've always been bad at set pieces.
I'm serious. Did you see all of Thierry Henry Aubameyang's goals today? They were great.
Don't go down that track.
Really, I mean, to be honest, this season shall go down in history as the year of inconsistency.
It's
right.
Forever at Arsenal.
No, for the whole league.
Oh, for the whole league.
There's only one team who's consistent, and that's our. What
was our last
Liverpool.
pod called?
Well, no,
right?
The Liverpool Sheffield United have been pretty damn consistent.
I was going to say they are the next one that has been in any way consistent.
And Man City for cheating.
Yeah, well,
that's been consistent.
And Manchester United for cheating,
which
they do every year.
No.
So that's consistently inconsistent.
I like
how he thinks like he's, Manchester United
pulled up on financial fair play
floats
rules
in
though.
on with a halo over their head and little angel wings all the time.
Sir Alex,
they're busy kicking people in the nuts.
Allegedly,
there's no allegedly.
VAR didn't do anything about it. Maguire wasn't suspended today. I don't see anything from it.
If you have
nothing
video,
happened.
If you have video evidence
allegedly
that it happened, there's no alleged.
Well, OJ didn't go to jail for the murder of those 2 people.
They don't have video evidence.
Nothing happened.
No,
Maguire.
Look at you trying to just deflect your
no VAR. Thank you, VAR.
Has nothing to do with VAR.
Played today, captain of Manchester United in all his glory. Come on, Harry.
Yep. Then Martial didn't play any of these last games.
Well, Martial played all of them. He scored goals.
No, he didn't.
Goals.
It's the same thing. No, he didn't. He didn't play at all.
Yeah, he did.
How do you know? How do you know he played?
Score sheets. It went down on documentation.
Or you can pencil whip that.
That's the name of your sex tape.
Oh my God. I could pencil whip that. Love it.
Yeah, you said it.
No, I didn't. You said.
No, you said the sex tape part.
I did, yes.
That's going to take me forever to edit this pod. This one's hysterical. Oh my God.
I really do think the quote of the pod so far is romper room f***ery.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
If we were going to get T-shirts made, that's the one I'd want, actually.
Let me give you a quick La Liga's roundup. Go over to the German league with the Bundesliga. On Friday, Bayern Munich beat Paderborn 3-2. So keeping their win streak going as they remain in first in the league. And then on Saturday, Holland scores yet again for Dortmund as they just are inconsistent, but really working up the table, and they remain in third. But Dortmund won 2-0, to Werder Bremen. And then the second place team at the moment, which is RB Leipzig, they had a big win, I believe 5-0. And they remain dangerously close, and they are playing very, very well right now. And Forsberg and Werner and Holstrenberg are really playing well. They played well midweek. They beat Liverpool 1-0 in the Champions League. So they are right on the heels, and the German Bundesliga is really getting very, very tight there. Yes, Borussia Mönchengladbach is still in fourth on 43 points, but Dortmund are on 45 points, RB Leipzig 48, and Bayern on 49 points. So still a lot of games to be played in the Bundesliga, but Dortmund kind of regained their top spot, and we'll see if they can carry that on for the remainder of the year. Switching gears over real quick to the Spanish Primera Division.
Can we just talk? It's only one person who's important
in the league
for this weekend.
Well, that's how Pep cheated when he was at Barcelona. Yeah. Messi scores a hat trick. Jeez. And him and Ronaldo just keep just two goats just going at it.
Every time you're like, well, maybe it is this one. Then something else happens.
Yeah, he scores 3 goals in the first half, I believe. Barca go on to, I think, a 4-5-0 win. They actually get over, and they are now in first place above Real Madrid, who lost 1-0 this past weekend. And I got to look to see who they lost to. I don't remember quite that one. But nonetheless, Barcelona sit currently. Yeah, they won 5-0 against Eibar, and Real Madrid lost 1-0 against Levante. And Barca are on 55 points, Real Madrid on 53, and Atletico Madrid is all the way down there on 43, and they're tied with Sevilla in 4th. So it's really another Barcelona and Real Madrid, but it is tight, and both teams have been playing very, very well. Real Madrid dropped an uncharacteristic point there, and Barca, I don't know if they're starting to get on the uptick, because they had to, I don't know if you saw this, but they had to they got the permission to sign a striker in the outside of the transfer window because of the injury problems that they have at that position. It's interesting because Martin Braithwaite, I think is how you say his name, he went for his player debut or his introduction to the Barcelona. So it's a media event. They usually juggle the ball and whatnot. Right. He looked like me trying to do that. Couldn't juggle a thing. Ball's bouncing around while he's trying to get it going. And it was not the brightest of moments. And we'll see how much time he actually gets and how he puts it on. But
the second the injuries are over, he's gone.
Yeah, and I don't know what I don't remember seeing what he was actually signed for. But what is interesting is that it's very rare that happens that way, where
it's got to be bad, man.
Yeah,
well, it's like in hockey in the NHL. Was it the Hurricanes?
Oh, guys,
just recently,
the coolest sports story of the decade so far.
Yeah, they're having some injury problems at their goalie.
So Canes are at Toronto. This is what makes this even crazier.
Yeah.
And in the first and second period, they lose a goalkeeper each, period.
Right. And so the Zamboni driver pads up.
Yeah. He plays. This is in Toronto. Zamboni driver is the practice goalie for the minor league Leafs team.
Yeah.
If you want to see the best Twitter feed, follow his wife. It is
really
this curse-laden experience as she is just dropping F-bombs, freaking out, and the last thing she's like, I have no voice. I have no voice. And then she's sharing a video of that dude walking into the Canes locker room as they won. He ended up getting several saves, a few goals scored him, but they won. And they're just dousing him with champagne and stuff.
And now they're making shirts.
Yeah.
They're making shirts for him.
He lived his dream.
Which is awesome.
He lived his dream. And people are going, and she was her Twitter feed this morning was that look you get from someone's face when why are you buying all these newspapers at the gas station? Yeah. It's all her husband on the front. That's awesome. That is the best. That's the best sports story of the decade. We're only in the first year of it.
Yeah. So that is the Spanish La Liga. Serie A, not a whole lot of big news out of this past week. Juventus still remain on top. Lazio in second. Inter Milan in third. Atalanta in fourth. Pretty tight up there at the top. Inter's dropped down a little bit as Juventus are on 60 points. Lazio's in 59 points. And Inter's in 54 points. Lazio and Inter played last week to a very, very fun game where I believe it's all Lazio take the points in that game. It was 2-1 maybe. And Napoli are still down there in 6th and AS Roma in 5th, but it's really going to be those top 3 teams that battle it out. And I believe Ronaldo scored for his 11th game in a row in the league or something like that. So again, his age, we're watching 2 of the best to ever play the game right now in what is Messi and Ronaldo. And then these guys, this is going to surprise you here. This is really going to surprise you.
Uh-oh.
French League 1. PSG are still in first.
Wait a second.
What?
Yeah, no, I not you there, guys. Not you there. 65 points plus 47 goal difference. Marseille's in second, plus 11 goal difference with 52 points. I got a sneaky feeling that PSG are going to win that league, but
wait, really?
They probably were a little nervous this week because of what? Oh, those darn financial fair play rules. Who knows? Which club's next? And right now, everybody's pointing towards PSG. Man City get it. Oh, PSG has to get it.
A state-owned company? Or
I don't know. They're probably owned by the Paris Capital, whatever. I don't know.
You actually remind me of another stat coming out of the Premier League because you're talking about Bundesliga. You're talking about PSG. Pierre Aubameyang, Thierry Henry.
Jesus.
This was his 3rd time scoring against an Ancelotti club at 3 different clubs between the Bundesliga and all the clubs he's been. Yeah. Conference League.
Lovely.
Paris Saint-Germain is owned by the Qatar Sports Investment Company.
Don't they have like the Qatar Airways or the Etihad Airways on Man City? I don't know. Just saying. But that is your La Liga's roundup.
MLS is starting soon.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We should have
coming week.
We should have had this pod as a preview. We might not even do one this year. Who knows?
Well, we can still talk about it if we
Yeah. Because the first game is next 6 days from now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the home opener for Orlando City versus Real Salt Lake next week, the 29th.
And you'll actually be in town for that, yeah?
I will actually be in town.
Yeah, that kind of crept up, it feels like.
Came out of nowhere, yeah.
So that should be good. I got to do a lot of homework because it is really hard to follow the MLS off season while being in China.
Well, especially since they don't follow the international calendar, which is what I'll be talking about on the third round of our MLS roundup. How dumb that is.
So that should be entertaining. And hey, at least they fixed their playoffs, and the playoffs weren't absolutely
the playoffs were actually lovely.
Year.
Yes, I agree.
So, baby steps. The MLS jerseys, the new ones, they released them a couple of weeks ago, and I really think that the whole league having similar style jerseys is cool. Too bad all the jerseys suck.
Yeah, there were a few that were all right. That bear claw thing was weird.
There's Minnesota's was good.
It didn't really.
The Avalanche were probably pretty good from my recollection, and everybody else's kind of sucked. It just looks really disjointed. I don't understand what they were going for.
Disjointly uniformed. It's weird.
Yeah. So, hey, MLS is coming back. Should be.
We'll see.
I'm actually hopeful for Orlando City. I think it's one of the better off seasons we've had.
I would agree.
I think we're building towards something. We actually have I'm
excited. We're in our 8th coach.
8 coaches.
47th coach, actually.
In 5 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean to sound such a Debbie Downer, but I'm kind of like, okay, front office, show me you have a plan.
Well, and that's what they kind of have this past year by bringing in the new head coach, which is the name I can't remember, but the players that we've signed, there is a clear trying to build something. We'll see if that something is better than what the past 13 coaches have done.
Let's hope so.
They're trying to build something. What it is, we're still not sure.
They're trying to build a core and some good solid talent in that core with center back, some star power there, not making Nanny the centerpiece. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. I hope, man. I'm excited-ish.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Long MLS, yeah.
It's been hard. It's been hard to be an Orlando fan for the last few years.
Yes, it has been.
On that exciting note, I think that wraps us up. Good to get a pod in with all 3 of us in the same room again. We might get a few more of those out before you head back.
Maybe next week, same time, same station.
Maybe.
And
I'll be here.
So follow us as always on Twitter, Facebook. Go to our website, brewtifulgame.com. You can find all the stuff there. Untapped is huge now. We're at like level 130 something for photos. I don't know. We got a lot of check-ins on there. So you can see all the different beers and everything we're doing. Instagram. I don't think I mentioned that. Yeah, you know where to find us. If you listen to a podcast, however you listen to it, whatever, Apple Podcast, whatever, leave us a review and rating, give us a screen grab, send it to us either through the brewtifulgame@gmail.com or DM through Twitter or Facebook, whatever. And we'll get some goodies out to you.
Yeah, man.
All right, gents. I'm going back to the well of dad jokes.
Here he goes.
So I'm just going to spin this wheel.
Stop.
And boom. So we can be surprised with you. Why do they always give nurses red crayons?
Why?
Because they have to draw blood.
It was one of your better ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go with it. Didn't break me, but I'll you know what? Draw blood. Okay, crayons red.
What did
nurse, Do you want to just end it right there? Because I'm not going to get any better than that.
No, because they had 3, and I like one of them.
Okay.
What did Tennessee? The same thing as Arkansas.
You should have just stopped at the first one. You really should have just stopped at the first one.
I like that one better.
That one's terrible.
There you go. Perfect. We got to get a new edition of Dad Joke Book.
Yeah, we do.
Love the beer, cherish the game, the Brewtiful Game.
Oh, Bruno.